What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and you are listening to Liquid Courage. My friend, summer is officially upon us. This is day 3 of the summer of 2022 officially. Welcome to the hottest time of the year, not just temperature-wise, but any day we release a new Liquid Courage episode.
Well, I don't know. We were supposed to have the monsoon this year or this weekend, this last weekend, and we got the wind, but we didn't get any rain at all.
Did you
So
see
I felt like we got a little bit of a letdown. I was hoping for a little bit of rain, but nothing.
everybody got a little bit of wind this weekend? I saw Vegas there's a storm coming out of the Pacific Northwest heading south, and Vegas caught 65-mile-an-hour winds
Oh,
over the
woohoo!
weekend. And it was bizarre, man. Like, it was windy up here on Saturday, and we went to a pool party on Saturday. And our buddy had been planning this. He's looking forward to it. He asked me to smoke some meats, and we're gonna come by the pool party. And we're gonna hang out. It's gonna be great. Day of the party, 35-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh,
So the kids that were there had a great time. The adults just kind of hung out in shaded areas and didn't want to get in the pool because of the winds. And also, when you watch a handful of kids get in the water for 2 or 3 hours straight and nobody gets up to pee, uh, yeah, I'm good.
oh, you foresee the worst. Yeah, that they don't have
Yeah.
the green chemical in there that forms with the pee and creates like a
What?
little color discoloration.
Well, I believe they should have it. I don't think chastising children like that is probably the best way for self-esteem and self-worth development. But what do I
Yeah,
know? I'm not a child psychologist.
that's true. That's true. That's true. Well, did you still smoke your meat though?
I did something different because he gave me a couple tri-tips and a brisket. And the brisket was smaller because it was from a local ranch here in town. And the briskets or the tri-tips were from one of those like butcher block companies or the meal prep companies. They send you food for a family of 4 for the whole week. So they were
Oh, okay.
smaller. And for those that don't know, brisket for me is it's my white whale of smoking meats and barbecuing meats because it's a very tedious process, and as any small error could just ruin the whole thing. So
Interesting. I
I've
never
been,
knew that. Okay.
oh yeah, I mean it is such a temperamental piece of meat because it's very fatty. So you have to cook it for a long time to melt the fat. Otherwise, it's rubbery, it's chewy, or it dries out. And a brisket, if you see a brisket in the store, they're usually probably about 18 inches long. You're very, you have to trim them, and they have a part which is called the flat, and then the round. And the flat dries out very quick. So this is a smaller piece of meat. So usually it's a 14-hour smoke.
Oh, sheesh.
So I opted not to smoke it right away on this one. I have a sous vide, and I've made you things in a sous vide before. For those that don't know what a sous vide is, it's a style of French cooking where you put a piece of meat in a vacuum sealed bag, and I have a wand that goes into a bucket of water that heats the water and circulates it to a certain temperature. So I cooked this brisket in my sous vide for 36 hours.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So basically, what it was is it got the meat to 155 degrees, and it kept it there because that's what the water was. So it stayed at that temperature, never got hotter than that.
Okay.
So I pulled it out and I stuck it on the smoker for a couple hours to give it a little bit of smoke flavor, and pulled it out. I wrapped it in red butcher paper and let it sit for 3 hours, covered in towels in an ice chest. And I, it's still elusive, man. Like, the thin part was good. There was flavor, but it was just dry.
Oh, dry.
But the round part, man, I tell you what, like, you could squeeze it, and like the juice would come out of it, and it was flavorful. I hit the money on that one, so I'm getting closer. Uh, I'm afraid of that 14-hour smoke. I'm afraid of having to sit there and watch it because that kind of meat has to sit for 3 hours to rest. So that's a 17-hour process. So if you're going to serve dinner at 5 or 5:30, 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, that means you have to start that meat on the smoker. What, 10, 11 o'clock the Friday night before. So you're up all night with that too.
So okay. I've never been a smoker. I'm not even that great of a griller, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. What if you were going to give me one piece of advice on if I was going to become a smoker and try to do that? What would you give me as a piece of advice? Because I just stay away from it because it seems a little too difficult for people like me that don't have a good skill set. It seems a little difficult for me to do that. So, what advice would you give a rookie
I would
in the
say,
smoker grilling
take
life?
chances, man. Read YouTube, read. Everyone's got their own versions of how to do it, and they're all basically the same. But if you can read, you can smoke or grill.
Okay, all right. So
Especially today
you think I can watch YouTube videos and smoke?
that's what I do.
Uh,
Like I get
well, then
ideas.
why are you so afraid of the white whale?
Why am I? Because
Ooh,
they make
ooh,
ooh,
top
ooh,
spin that right back over the net at you, brother.
because um, every brisket is a little bit different. They're not all the same because obviously beef are different sizes, cows, and everyone's got a different technique. But a lot of people run into the same problems. So I use a pit boss.
Okay.
And I was explaining this to Janice the other day because I ended up having a grease fire in mine, and one of mine. I have three. One's an old one I need to take to Williams. One's my travel one, and then I have my monster. I started a grease fire last week when I was making beef ribs. So the wind knocked down the top, got everything super hot, and burned off all the paint, and there's like real damage. I have to go in there and clean it out.
Is salvageable though?
I think so.
Okay, okay.
I
All
think so.
right.
I mean, it's
All
a
right.
pellet grill, so it didn't affect the motor. It didn't affect the auger, so I
Okay.
think it's okay. I just have to get in there and just clean it all out and clean it up.
Okay.
It's just hotter than hell out right now, so I don't want to go outside and have to do all that.
Right. It's only
Um,
90. It's
yeah,
only 90, dude.
it's in the hundreds up here now. But it's in direct sunlight, so that also
Okay.
I got to be careful of that,
Yeah.
especially my fair complexion these days.
I understand.
But when you have a pit boss or a Traeger, everyone hears the word Traeger and they think they're automatic smoke masters, pit masters.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be completely honest. Those are adult easy bake ovens.
Okay.
And that might upset some people, our three listeners and Tom. I don't know, but a pellet grill, while was very useful because you literally set the temperature that you want and it monitors it and it feeds the fire for you. It's an easy bake oven. You set it and you forget it.
Okay.
A real smoker would be an offset smoker in direct heat where you have to monitor the fire, you have to refill the fire and make sure that you have the smoke going in and out properly. There's a lot of offset smokers you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart. That are the more traditional version. I think the people that can master those are the real pit masters, and I am working my way up to that. Tom actually has one up in his backyard. He has yet to use, as far as I know. I don't think he has the interest in it, but a smoker like that is an all-day event.
Okay. I know that when I've been to Texas,
Yeah,
um, Ricky's wife has an uncle who has done big smoked brisket, big, massive amounts of meat, and he is by far an expert. Probably the most expertise person I've ever met in terms of the flavor of the food coming off of
yeah,
his cooking. It is by far the best thing I've ever tasted. I mean, it is like it's got the just the beautiful amount of juice. It's got the nice flavor. It's got a nice crust on the outside to give it
yeah.
that little crunchy skin. And oh my gosh, yeah. So I'm with you. I think I understand what you're saying.
So yeah, and that's what you chase as someone, because I'm an enthusiast. I think when how some people are into video games, some people are into like smoking meat. It is my happy place. So I go and I watch the videos and I try to figure and I try to master it. And also brisket is a very expensive piece of meat. Usually one brisket's like $80
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a
very
decent size
expensive.
one. So then you have like 7 or 8 pounds of meat when it's all said and done, and that's a lot of meat to reuse and so you have to do it for parties or nothing else really. So I don't know. I get irritated at a lot of people that call themselves, pit masters, and they're using Traegers or pit bosses or even camp chefs, and you're like, it's an easy bake oven. Like we all
Okay.
make mistakes, but go get a real smoker if you want to call yourself that and perfect it. I mean, otherwise you're using a glorified propane grill.
Okay. And the pit boss is a real one, or is that the glorified grill?
It's just like a Traeger. It's a easy bake oven.
Okay.
It
And
really is.
so you don't use those very often, is what I understand.
I
You
use
don't.
mine all the time because
Oh, okay. So
because nowadays they're like 8-in-1. You can smoke, you can grill, you can bake, you can do everything because like, you're creating the consistent temperature in an enclosed area. So it works like a barbecue. I've got a sear plate option where I can open it up and turn it into a regular grill. So if we're making burgers or whatever else, you can just throw it on there.
Okay.
With the traditional smoker, you can't do that. It's offset, so you have the firebox that's on the side of the smoker. Then you have the chamber that the smoke is filtered in through, and the heat is filtered in through, and that's where you put all the meat and you let it sit. The dream for me is to get a mill scale. And if you don't know what a mill scale smoker is, look them up online. They're out of Texas. They're handcrafted out of propane tanks. They're beautiful, beautiful. Just their art on top of being smokers. So that's the goal, but they're also very expensive.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, and let's be honest. I mean, I don't know if you go to the store a lot, but I've been to the store the last few times, and while let's be honest, I feel like going to the store now, you do get the sense that the the quality and the amount of options in terms of meats has definitely come down.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think it's
like the whole thing with the inflation and stuff. It seems like we're just not getting the same kind of things we used to get like a year, 2 years ago.
yeah. I have to agree with that, and I think this is all since the pandemic started. I have a friend that's one of that he's the stocker person for Frito Lay's. He has the route here. I see him at Walmart every Sunday morning when I'm shopping. He's always refilling the chip section, and it's always hit and miss now to find any kind of chip. Like you never know when they're going to show up. And I was talking about it one day. I said, "So what's the deal, man? Like when you getting?" Because I'm a big salsa verde Doritos fan. Like I love that green bag.
Okay,
I
okay,
will I
okay.
will mow down a bag in one sitting just because I love them so much. But they only make them for I think a few months out of the year. And he was telling me that they would make him full time again from what his corporate told, but they can't hire the people in the production plants to make the chips. So they're behind schedule on all the different varieties of chips they make.
See, I don't I know that I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't buy into them very often, but I'm sorry. We have an unemployment rate of 2.9%.
Mm-hmm.
How is it possible that you don't have enough workers? What has changed that you had enough workers before COVID and now you don't have enough workers? We didn't lose that many people, and we have the lowest unemployment rate that there is. So, are you saying that your business is just grown by leaps and bounds, and you don't have the people to um, to do the work? Because I
Oh,
mean, this is ridiculous.
oh,
Like, I don't understand it.
I agree. And in that case, I don't have an answer to it, but I started looking into things, researching, just trying to figure it out. And I came across a bunch of articles over the last few weeks that there seem to be a lot of fires happening in food production plants throughout the country. And I think it's 21 or 22 plants have burned down over the last few months.
What?
Yeah. So
Wow.
naturally, that leads to conspiracy theory that they're trying to create a food shortage because that's why you see food shortage with baby formula, meats and what have you. Because a lot of it are the meat processing plants. I read an article. I was at an appointment waiting the other day, and I was reading an article that 10,000 head of cattle dropped dead in Kansas the other day.
What?
Yeah, out of nowhere, 10,000 head of cattle just dropped, and they blamed it on the heat. And when I was reading the comments on that
Oh,
article, they
okay.
said that doesn't make sense because they've had cattle in Kansas for years at that same heat, and there's no reason for cattle to drop dead at that heat because it's like 95 degrees with humidity. And they said on top of that,
Right.
Texas has way worse heat, and they're known for their cattle, so that doesn't make any
Yeah.
damn sense.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, but the plants that are burning down. I mean, are they? Is the story that you're reading saying that someone is doing that,
That
or the companies are doing that? What are they saying?
no one, they're all quote unquote mysterious fires, which leads me to believe that someone is doing it. Because if one plant burns down, that's random. But when you start getting over 20 and they're all food production plants from across the country, it makes you start looking at why. There's no answer
Sure.
to it. There's no, and it's stuff like poultry production, pork production, beef processing. So like someone's trying to really cut in to those industries and create the shortages or drive prices up. And it's hard to really pin down like who's doing it or why. But I get the feeling that somebody just really wants to create anarchy.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean that's the oil is the same way. I mean, the gas prices keep going up, and it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. Uh, are you not producing enough oil? You know the demand is there for oil.
Well,
Why is
we're
ExxonMobil? Why are these people not producing more oil then if the demand is there? And to say, well, we have a shortage of plants and we have a shortage of the capacity to refine oil. Really? Because that seems kind of odd. Because you guys have always push, produce oil, and now we have this issue where you're not producing anymore. You're not producing more oil. That I mean, well, what's changed? What's changed? Oh, you're making record profits. Got it. Okay. All right.
what makes me laugh about the oil, and I read this before the recording today. Dean Norris, the famous actor who played Hank Schrader on Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
came out and said, if you're a capitalist, you can't be mad at the gas prices because they are literally doing what a capitalist does. If you truly at your heart believe in a capitalist society about making the most you can off of everybody, you cannot bitch about gas prices.
I think that I think the same thing. You can't bitch about the inflation if you're a homeowner
Yeah.
because your value of your house has gone up so much because of that inflation. Inflation, part of the big, what are the two big contributors? Home prices and oil or
Yeah.
gas prices.
Yeah.
So when you're seeing 8% growth in a year, oh, it's terrible, it's horrible, it's horrible, horrible. But my house is now worth 50% more than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
Look at everything globally, not just in your own little world, and see what
right.
happens. Yeah,
Like
it's
this baby food shortage, it pisses me off because, I'm looking at it, it's like, why do we have a baby food shortage? Two reasons. One, there's only two companies that make baby formula.
yeah,
What? There's only two companies that make it? Oh, and one of them got shut down because they didn't have clean standards on producing baby formula. So we're pissed because we don't have baby formula, yet no one yells at the company for letting their standards go to the point where you can't make quality, healthy food.
it's the do as I say, not as I do
And no one
mentality.
says a word about it. Like
Yeah.
you said, you can't complain about inflation because this is exactly those oil companies are making
You know,
billions of dollars.
and I have to laugh though because I was right before you sent me the link to hop on. I was scrolling through Facebook, which is the world's biggest fucking problem, and someone posted how that they paid $125 for a half a tank of gas in California. I was like, well, that's what you get. And first comment was, "Welcome to Biden's America."
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, like, and you want to stop, you want to jump in there, and you want to correct them, but you realize that is not the platform, that is not the audience that's going to believe it or understand why this is happening. But it's like it's mentalities like this that don't realize that this is a capitalist. These are the things you believe in, and you're pounding your chest on that. We're a capitalist society. We should be able to have the right to do whatever we want to do. Don't bitch when a company like Shell or BP are raking us over the coals because they can, and we have to take it because we've built our economy on gas.
well, and take it to your food thing. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, if there's a financial gain that can be had by destroying food processing plants, I'm sorry. Why do we think that people will act honorably and do what's right for the majority of us when you're dealing with business? Fuck, I don't care if it costs $93 a pound for steak or
Yeah.
hamburger meat goes to $20 a pound. I don't care.
My favorite conspiracy on that though, it was Bill Gates. Bill Gates did it because he he wanted the vaccines, but he wouldn't vaccinate his kids, and he's trying to get people to start eating insects as a form of protein. So he's trying to burn down all the meat production plants. Like that is outlandish.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I can't say you're wrong, but I can't say you're right. But I'm gonna say you
No,
sound like
I'm
a fucking
sorry.
whack
I'm
job.
sorry. You can say they're wrong. I'm sorry. You can say they're wrong. And if someone were to say something stupid like that to me, I can say you are totally off base. You are totally wrong.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying it to people. In fact, I run into that problem all the time. Noreen gets mad at me when someone makes some silly, you know, you know what the problem is. This is the problem with people's logic. We already talked about this. Trees are green. Money is green. Trees grow leaves. Money must be made of leaves. They're both green. See? No, that's the stupidest fucking logic I've ever heard.
I get,
No.
I get it.
Yeah, no, I don't know exactly what to expect anymore, but I will say that I do get the sense that people, us, have just become accustomed to it now.
Mhm.
We don't even question anymore that these companies are making billions of dollars of profit.
Oh
You
no.
know, and like when now they're canceling flights all the time. They're canceling flights all the time because they have no pilots. No pilots. What are you talking about? You've known that we were going to start flying again. Like, how could you not have hired pilots to do the work? I mean, this doesn't make sense. And the airlines have said, well, you're going to pay anyways because you want to fly. So we'll just charge an arm and leg for the tickets that we do have. I mean, it's almost like they just said, we have you over a barrel and we know you're going to pay it. So you're going to pay it,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's
And
hard. It's hard to get out of that mentality though too, because once you get used to paying those high prices, doing anything, you know, then you don't mind paying it when it drops $1 or $2 for gas. So they're saying it'll be $6 a gallon by Labor Day.
yeah.
So,
And I mean,
so if it's
you know,
$6 a gallon by Labor Day, and everything eventually goes down to just $4 again, and that's where it bottoms out, quote unquote, everyone will be tickled pink with it because that's what happened 20 years ago when gas was a buck 50 to $1.85. Once it got over
right.
$2 a gallon,
Yeah.
people started tripping out, and now it's gotten so high. It's been in threes for the better part of the last 3 years. If I see it below three, I'm like, oh, this is great.
Oh my gosh. Well, think about this, Scott. I mean, I remember when about 15 years ago, I was part of a refinance of a house, and I was thankful to the gods I got 7% interest rate
Yeah,
on my refinance. And now it went from 3% in January to it's running about 6% now for a standard mortgage rate. And people are flipping out. Oh my gosh, I can't afford. How am I going to be able to buy a house now? Their interest rates have gone totally insane. I'm like, oh, dude, you have no idea. Noreen was saying that her dad had a loan that was a 12% mortgage rate.
oh yeah. Well,
12%.
it's affected, like like the thinking process that Janice and I have of trying to find, like, what do we want to do? Do we want to work on the house that we're in? Do we want to go someplace else? What do we want to do? And we started looking at it, and the prices are so stupid high right now. There's nothing you can really do about it. But once you get to an excessively high price of a house, and then you get an interest rate at 7 or 8%, it doesn't. It's not worth it to me. It's like, this is dumb. I'm not going to sit here and overpay for a house at an extremely high interest rate just so
Yeah.
we can say we have a bigger house or we're moving, because I don't want to double my house payment for the same size house.
Well, and then some things like the food. I'm coming back to the food. I mean, you're going to pay the money. You're going to pay whatever the dollar amount is for food.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice to say, screw it, I'm not going to buy food. Like, I've noticed that, I don't know about you, but I've noticed that the prices on some of the like cereals and chips, the prices are the same as before, but the ounces in the
They're
containers
less.
are less.
Yeah.
So people say, oh, see, this was $3 before and it's $3 now. Yeah, but you're getting,
You're
instead
getting
of getting
less. Yeah.
16 ounces, you're getting 14 or 13 ounces.
And
They can play games however they want with this.
I've noticed that too with products. It's the boxes are getting a little bit smaller, but the prices are staying the same. And, like Doritos. I bought a bag of Doritos this past weekend, and
Was it Salsa Verde?
no, it's Cool Ranch because they were under Cool Ranch, so I want to load up on those.
Oh, okay.
I've got a stash of Doritos in the garage,
Okay, so just in case, because you
just
need your
in case.
Doritos.
Just in case, I haven't loaded up in case there's a shortage. I have them, but normally, like this time of year in the past, they've been $2.50 a bag because it's the barbecue season. Like Memorial Day to Labor Day, they've done pretty good at just like dropping the prices. $2.45. They're about $3 the rest of the way. Right now, they're sitting at Walmart. Yesterday, they were sitting at $3.48 for a bag. I went to Bash's last night to grab something because I live close to Bash's, and I was walking down that aisle, and Bash's had them marked at 5.36 for a bag. Same.
Whoa! Oh man! Wow.
Yeah, yeah, but that's also a spot where if you don't have a choice, it's something you need or you really want, you'll pay that price.
Well, and the reality is that there are some people out there that if gas went to $30 a gallon,
Yeah,
they would still pay $30 a gallon.
yeah,
Because there's a line for everyone about what you're willing to pay. And because Noreen and I, don't have a lot of other expenses, when we look at a food bill, we don't even equate that, oh, that was a little higher than it was, the
yeah,
previous time we went grocery shopping. Um, so I'm sure that at some point, if we had to pay $25 for a pound of meat or something like that, at some point we'd probably say, okay, we're not going to buy meat anymore. And the more meat that doesn't get bought, then that has an effect because the demand is less. So hopefully, we are the only ones that can. We are the only ones that can really fix
yeah.
prices, right? We can only fix prices because ultimately, at some point, and there's going to be some dollar level on gas where people say, you know what, I'm not willing to pay it anymore.
Well, my parents are getting ready to go on. They're taking every summer they go camping with my aunt and uncle somewhere. My aunt and uncle live up in Washington. They meet somewhere in the middle and they go camping. And this year they're going to Idaho, like the very top of Idaho. I forget where. Then they're going over to go visit my aunt and uncle for a week up in Washington. And we were talking about it, and my dad flat out said we had budgeted $3,000 for gas. Now we have to budget between $5,000 and $6,000 for gas for this trip because of the way prices are
Yep.
going.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
quite frankly, the conversation was like, we can afford to do this, so we're gonna do this. But like, if we were doing this when you guys were in school, we wouldn't be doing this.
Oh, yeah. We'd make a choice. Right. Right.
Yeah, and I had that conversation with them even before they made this decision. Right when gas really started going up, I said, "So what's the cutoff point before you say no? We're not going camping." And they said the number. I forget what the number was, but so at that point, it's better for my mom just to fly up there for a week. My dad said he'd stay here to watch the dogs. So it's a sacrifice everybody has to make on what they're willing to do. As these prices go up.
It is a little scary though if they're purposefully burning food processing plants to sabotage the food chain.
Yeah, and I don't know what the reasoning is, but I did find an article that said it's like 22 plants in the last however many months. So something is amiss.
Something is and like I said, I we don't buy a lot of groceries to notice a huge difference, but you'd notice a difference. You notice a difference.
Oh yeah, and I've always kept my grocery shopping pretty minimal for what it is. I buy the same things every week, regardless. Even living with Janice and the girls, she takes care of the food for the girls, and I buy this like the big stuff for the big food to make for the week. But it's still
Okay.
chicken and whatever else. So those prices fluctuate as it is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, no, I will say though, even though you may not think that you're an excellent, you're still a white whale on the brisket. Most of the time, I've had a very enjoyable dining experience by the foods and the meats that you've smoked and made for us. So
I,
just know that not that I'm a connoisseur, so maybe it's been shit and I just don't know the difference. But assuming I know a difference, your food has been very delicious.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. So
Yeah.
as we bring the show to a close today, do you use a real smoker or do you use an easy bake oven smoker? We want to know. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If you have any suggestions for our EP Tom to get a easy bake oven smoker, which one should he get? Hit him up on Instagram and Twitter at liquid_EP.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Much better than the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I mean that was actually beautiful. That was perfect. We
I had
won't even get a ding on that one. That
I
that'll
had a
be a perfect
you
close.
go through a slump, man. I was in a slump, and I clearly I busted out today. I busted out of my slump, so I feel good.
Yeah. So what's your next smoke project? What are you working on next?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I I'm gonna take some time and probably do some research. I really want to do a whole pig on a spit.
Do you have the ability to do fish in this as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Because I would think fish would be a little tougher because it's not such a meaty it's not so meaty. It doesn't have a lot of bulk to it, so
Well,
I could see that it could be very easily damaged.
well, it doesn't take a lot of time, and
Oh, okay.
and the kind of like wood you use makes a difference too. Because there's hard heavy woods with heavy smokes, and then something like fish, you'd use a lighter wood for a lighter smoke.
Got it. Okay.
So there's a
Now,
lot to learn. There's a lot. Someday if you ever get like upgrade your grill and you get a smoker, I can walk you through some stuff. I think you'd find it very enjoyable and relaxing.
yeah, I've been always overwhelmed with smoking or barbecue in general. So, but Dave Watson is an amazing. I mean, he's an amazing. He's got the big smoker griller thing in the backyard, and he's put together some amazing meals as well. So I need to get over my overwhelming fear of it, but that's for another time.
That's absolutely true. That's very true. So that being said, Jason, take us home.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. We always appreciate you. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some liquid courage.